Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One, the author of life, the force that moves all things in place, the perpetual, all-knowing, almighty, supreme, most high. Praise be to the Spirit. Nothing that is flesh. You can't worship flesh because flesh are idols, folks. We are the idols. Those created on the sixth day of creation are idols. Okay, we're going to dive into a little bit of that. And we're going to read through 2 Samuel chapter 14 real quick. Absalom returns to Jerusalem. Joab, son of Zeruiah, knew that the king's heart belonged to Absalom. So Joab sent someone to Tekoa, and had a wise woman brought from there. He said to her, "Pretend you are mourning, dress in mourning clothes, and don't use any cosmetic lotions. Act like a woman who has spent many days grieving for the dead. Then go to the king and speak these words to him." And Joab put the words in her mouth. When the woman from Tekoa went to the king, she fell with her face to the ground to pay him honor. And she said, "Help me, your majesty." The king asked her, "What is troubling you?" She said, "I am a widow. My husband is dead. I, your servant, had 2 sons. They got into a fight with each other in the field, and no one was there to separate them. One struck the other and killed him. Now the whole clan has risen up against your servant. They say, 'Hand over the one who struck his brother down, so that we may put him to death for the life of his brother whom he killed. Then we will get rid of the heir as well.' They would put out the only burning coal I have left, leaving my husband neither name nor descendant on the face of the earth." Now what's peculiar about this is, though one Israelite slayed the other, as we're taught in the Bible, that if an Israelite sheds another Israelite's blood, then by their hands their blood shall be shed. So here we are again at the question: do 2 wrongs make a right? To slay one brother and then turn around and slay the other brother are those that are saying, "Hand over the brother who stoned the one so that we may kill him." Doesn't make sense, right? Because it would be an ongoing, perpetual death. And don't forget that the Bible in a few chapters back, when I read it, said that the sword shall never, okay, quotation marks, never leave Israel, meaning that you will be under the sword forever. So how can there be peace if the Lord is telling you that you shall always be underneath of the sword? It shall never leave you. Just something to think about. Okay. The king said to the woman, "Go home, and I will issue an order in your behalf." But the woman from Tekoa said to him, "Let my lord the king pardon me and my family, and let the king and his throne be without guilt." The king replied, "If anyone says anything to you, bring them to me, and they will not bother you again." She said, "Then let the king invoke the Lord his God to prevent the avenger of blood from adding to the destruction, so that my son will not be destroyed." As soon as the Lord leaves, he said, not one hair of your son's head will fall to the ground." Then the woman said, "Let your servant speak a word to my lord the king." "Speak," he replied. The woman said, "Why then have you devised a thing like this against the people of God? When the king says this, does he not convict himself? For the king has not brought back his banished son, like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be recovered. So we must die. But that is not what God desires. Rather, he devises ways so that a banished person does not remain banished from him. And now I have come to say this to my lord, the king, because the people have made me afraid. Your servant thought, I will speak to the king. Perhaps he will grant his servant's request. Perhaps the king will agree to deliver his servant from the hand of the man who is trying to cut off both me and my son from God's inheritance. And now your servant says, may the word of my lord the king secure my inheritance. For my lord the king is like an angel of God in discerning good and evil. May the Lord your God be with you. Now remember, if you know what an angel is 32 in the Strong's Concordance. It's angelos, and an angel is a priest, okay? It's a deacon or a minister. The king said to the woman, don't keep from me the answer to what I am going to ask you. Let my lord the king speak, the woman said. The king asked, isn't the hand of Joab with you in all this? The woman answered, as surely as you live, my lord the king, no one can turn to the right or to the left from anything my lord the king says. Yes, it was your servant Joab who instructed me to do this and who put all these words into my mouth of your servant. Your servant Joab did this to change the present situation. My Lord has wisdom like that of an angel of God. He knows everything that happens in the land. The king said to Joab, very well, I will do it. Go bring back the young man Absalom. Joab fell with his face to the ground to pay him honor, and he blessed the king. Joab said, today your servant knows that he has found favor in your eyes, my lord the king, because the king has granted his servant's request. Then Joab went to Geshur and brought Absalom back to Jerusalem. But the king said, he must go to his own house. He must not see my face. So Absalom went to his own house and did not see the face of the king. In all Israel there was not a man so highly praised for his handsome appearance as Absalom. From the top of his head to the sole of his feet there was no blemish in him. Whenever he cut the hair of his head, he used to cut his hair once a year because it became too heavy for him. He would weigh it, and its weight was 200 shekels by the royal standard. Wow. It's a lot of weight. 3 sons and a daughter were born to Absalom. His daughter's name was Tamar, and she became a beautiful woman. Absalom lived 2 years in Jerusalem without seeing the king's face. Then Absalom sent for Joab in order to send him to the king, but Joab refused to come to him. So he sent a second time, but he refused to come. Then he said to his servants, look, Joab's field is next to mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire. So Absalom's servants set the field on fire. Then Joab did go to Absalom's house, and he said to him, why have your servants set my field on fire? Absalom said to Joab, look, I sent word to you and said, come here, so I can send you to the king to ask, why have I come from Geshur? It would be better for me if I were still there. Now then, I want to see the king's face, and if I am guilty of anything, let him put me to death. So Joab went to the king and told him this. Then the king summoned Absalom, and he came in and bowed down with his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. Now I just want to show you something real quick. We're taking a look here at the word image, slim in Hebrew, okay? An image, to form, image, images, likenesses, and a phantom. This is key. Okay, now I don't know why the concordance is taken out one of the meanings here, but also right here there used to be another meaning, and that meaning said an idol, and I can confirm that right here. Okay, right here. Slide it on over a bit for you. Okay, the very word image means Absalom, from an unused root meaning to shade a phantom, as I just showed you. It's an illusion. This sixth day, this God that created a man in his image is an illusion. It's a resemblance, hence a representative figure, especially an idol. 6754, an idol. They've taken out today, if you look, watch. Okay. They've taken out the word idol. Watch. So I've been teaching about this parable for a very, very long time, and as you can clearly see, that it has everything here except a representative figure. Right here, it used to say especially an idol, as I just showed you in the video previous to this. Okay, so for 5-6 years, man, that I was teaching this parable, this hidden meaning, it said an idol. And now all of a sudden, who's ever writing the Strong's Concordance has removed an idol. So an image is an idol, and we can take that to here. So here in Exodus chapter 20, verse 4, it says, "You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in the heavens above, the earth below, or the waters beneath." And we can confirm that the idol are images right here when you look over to the left where it says, "You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, the earth beneath, or the waters below." So an idol is an image. So what I'm telling you is that this God right here, Elohim, on the sixth day of creation, created a man, created himself. This God here created a man, which was himself, in an image. This is so when God says that you shall place no other gods before me, folks, there are other gods. There has to be other gods. You have one God giving you a commandment not to place any other gods before you, then that would confirm that there are other gods. Remember what Satan said when the second man was created from the dust of the earth? God said to this other God, Satan, Lucifer, whoever it was, come and kneel down before the second creation. And Satan said, "I refuse to kneel down. That's a mortal man. I'm not going to bow down before a mortal man. I'm a God." That's the Islamic teachings right there, is that saying that I am God. I am a God. I will not bow down to a mortal man. So this, and what was that? That was the fall. Why? Because pride is what stepped into to play here. He refused to bow down to the Supreme Creator's new creation, which was a man. So these gods that are in an image, you must understand, are an illusion. It's right there. Phantom is an illusion. Okay? And when we come to this gematria calculator, when we type in the word illusion, it comes to 666. So that God that created himself in an image is an illusion. It's all about this system that we live in, which is a 666 system. Just going to touch that real quick and leave this a short video. I hope everybody has a blessed day. This is White Raptor News Ministries.